And I was like, okay, that's cool. Who's doing something like that now, in a way? Like Dan Bilzerian is kind of doing something similar. He has a lot of sexy girls, a lot of fun. I don't think much of the politics. No, nothing really on the politics side. But he's like got all these sexy girls, and he's got a brand associated with that, Ignite. I'm like, well, that's an interesting business model. Then I started thinking, what am I good at? Well, I'm pretty good at speaking, and maybe if this comic book thing doesn't work out, what would I do? And I was like, I wouldn't mind doing like a podcast where I'm talking about politics and stuff, a little bit like Joe Rogan, where he gets into a lot of different topics. And then like, how can I combine beautiful women and a podcast? Like, how could I combine like, and then the concept was just like, what if there was like a glass wall, and behind that glass wall is the pool, and there was some beautiful girls swimming in the pool
Why are you doing the podcast?
while I did the podcast. I was just like eye candy to sort of, in a way, it was a marketing gimmick because it's like so many podcasts out there. How do I get my initial attention? If I have a couple girls who are models swimming in the background or whatever, they will post it, tweet about it, whatever, and that'll drive a little bit of initial traction. And my thinking there is attract all the male audiences with the pretty girls, and then keep them there with intellectual conversation. And that was sort of the seed. I actually had a folder in my Google Drive actually called Babes, Boobs, and Bali at some point. And it was this idea. I didn't have a name for it or whatever. And
Let Ricky vet that that folder.
Babes, Boobs, and Bali. The folder Babes, Boobs, and Bali. Like, it was the concept of like the early stage of the Mermaid House was basically like a podcast with like people swimming in the background. I don't even think I had the mermaid title yet, kind of like figured out, but where it evolved, I kind of put that aside for a while. It was just like a folder sitting there. And then when I had this NFT revolution, you need to have an NFT like a character. I'm like, oh, cool. The people swimming could be mermaids, Mermaid House. And then I started thinking like beyond just the podcast and the entertainment side of things, what do people actually need to be the best versions of themselves? And I started thinking about the values and like, I was also thinking like, another thing about Bali is, I'm sure we can all relate who have been here, especially in Canggu, is like traffic. So what if we built this sort of resort away from the traffic? And I call these like anchor cities, right? So you have like the resort acts as an anchor, an underdeveloped area of Bali, so you can buy cheaper land, and you have the resort set up there. But on that resort, if nothing else is around, you kind of need it to have everything. It has to be the anchor. It has to have your like little health clinic, has to have your food, little grocery store that you could buy some stuff at, shopping, hairdresser, all these different things. So once you start doing that, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So what started as a small concept started to evolve into like this bigger concept.